years ago, my sister joined some online game thing. Can't remember which. It was a words with friends kind of game, and she met someone and played against him frequently. He gave her his name, and she would message him frequently, and he would respond. Eventually, he asked for her number, and she gave it to him. She honestly didn't know any better, as she isn't quite able to distinguish problematic situations like this. This person began sending very lewd and inappropriate messages. He asked for pictures of her private parts. I felt gross typing this in reference to my sister. She didn't understand what this meant, and kept explaining that she didn't have a cat. He became more aggressive in the text messages, and much more sexually explicit. He kept asking her for pictures, and since she didn't know any better, she sent him pictures of her face. He became more upset with those, and kept requesting more and more. She became worried at how often and frequently he was texting her, and that's when she told my mom. That's when I overheard this whole thing. So without my sister knowing, I took her phone and got his number. I studied his text to her, and figured out the part of the country he lived in, down to the exact city. I added his number to my phone and began terrorizing this freak. About an hour into it, he was apologizing profusely. I made threats that endangered him, such as telling his parents about it, reporting him to his bosses. I totally lied. I had no idea where he worked, and hacking into his personal device and frying it from the inside out. I have connections. He kept responding so quickly, and I honestly loved how desperate he was to not let anybody find out. I told him never message anybody like that again, or I would find out and ruin his life. He apologized one more time, and I didn't respond after that. I know it's none of my business, but I hate creeps. I know there's not much I can do to help people who struggle with things like this, but I wish I could help every single person. Honestly, I put my own safety aside for those who are less capable of protecting themselves against these harmful situations. I love my sister, and I'm happy that this creep left her alone. Creepy guy who messaged my innocent sister, let's not meet again. So this happened a few months ago. I had just gotten Red Dead Redemption, awesome game, and while I was playing online, I met this guy named Rick. He's in like his 50s and a retired firefighter. We played together for a while, helping me level up so that people wouldn't target a low-level player who was also a girl. After a while, he introduces me to this guy named Black Wolf Angel, or something like that. Black seemed cool at first. We would hang out on Red Dead Redemption, shooting lots of bandits, and doing gang hideouts. After a while, we became somewhat good friends. He then started to lightly flirt with me, every once in a while. I let it slide because the kind person I am. I made it my goal to not get a so-called Xbox boyfriend, so I tended to avoid flirting on there. We would normally hang on in parties with Rick, but one time he invited me to a party, and I'm like, oh, okay, he and Rick want to play. But I was dead wrong. He started to flirt super heavily with me. I acted like I had to go, so I left. For weeks, he would spam me with party invites and messages saying, hey sexy, and stuff like, I'm so horny. It finally got to the point where I was so sick of him. So when he invited me the last time, I answered. Big mistake. He started with the usual flirting, and I just said, look, Black, I am not interested in any kind of relationship right now, so please lay off. He agreed and laid off for a few days, but then he broke the silence by sending me a message saying, I'm thinking of suicide because of you. I flipped my shit and started to curse him out, and telling him to never contact me again. I told Rick all about it, and he told me he stopped talking to him a few days before for the same reason. So for a while, everything was cool, but then I started to get phone calls and text messages saying the same shit he used to say. I answered one said phone call and told him to fuck off or I'll get the police. Thankfully, he stopped after that. So Black from Xbox Live, let's never meet again, you creep.